on the phone, we have a gentleman I saw many times on David Letterman. I'm too young to remember him playing, but I always enjoyed him. Pro Football Hall of Famer Art Donovan. How you doing, Art?
All right, fine, for an old man.
Okay, I have a question. I've seen the year of your birth listed as 1924 or 1925. Which one was it?
24. I lied a year, so we didn't know I was 39 my last year.
So you made yourself younger so you could keep playing in the NFL?
Yeah, I lied. I've had a long life.
A productive life as well.
Yeah, it turned out okay.
How did you end up going to Boston College for college? You're from New York. New York hates Boston people.
I'm from the Bronx, born and raised in the Bronx, and I'm very, very proud of that. I know I went to Notre Dame for a semester, and I came back after World War II, and they really didn't want me. So I went to BC, and it turned out great.
Now, what I want to know is, your father was a famous boxing referee. Your grandfather was the world middleweight champions in the 1870s. How did you not end up in a boxing ring?
Me? My father worked at the New York Athletic Club for 55 years. The boxing instructor. His father had the job before him, and I used to go down on Saturday mornings. He had a boys club, all the members, sons, and anyhow, I'd have to fight the members' sons, and I had 100 fights and lost them all. My father would say, let this kid beat you. So by the time I was maybe 18, I was butt drunk.
You mentioned you were at Notre Dame. Was Frank Leahy your coach?
Yes.
What was he like?
You can't talk about the dead. So I think I won't answer that question. You know, it's a funny thing that I thought out there I was better than maybe half the tackles. And when the war was over, I met the coach, Ray Krause, out in California. And he said to me, are you coming back to school? And I said, yes, I'd like to come. But Lee had his pets, and I wasn't one of his pets. I had a fight. One of his pets, a tackle, was holding me. And I kept telling him, hey, don't hold me, okay? If you can't block me, don't hold me. So he did it a couple more times. I finally got sick and tired of it. And I hit him with a couple of punches. And then we got into a real fight. And Lady said, all right, shake hands. And I said, I'm not gonna shake hands. He don't like me. And I certainly don't like him. So that was it. I think that was my ticket out of ND.
What did your family think after all that happened and you're no longer at Notre Dame?
My mother was in shock. But I'll tell you the truth, Dave. I really wanted to go to Fordham. It was a 10-minute walk from my house, and I was always a Fordham fan. In fact, to watch them practice in the afternoon, the coaches, the priests, used to go in and let us watch practice of like the 7 blocks of granite. And I was just happy. So I went over after the war. I saw the athletic director, and he said, look, we're disbanding intercollegiate football fans. So if I were you, I'd go to Boston College. And I made my mind up. Here I go.
I think you had even a harder time in the war. You were in some famous battles with the Battle of Iwo Jima.
I was on a few islands, and I saw a lot of service. So a lot of other guys did too. A guy I played alongside ago, for 11 years, Gino Marchetti, he was in the Battle of the Bulge. So a lot of guys saw a lot of action.
So the Battle of the Bulge wasn't the battle to lose weight?
That was me. They used to say, hey, run around, Donovan, you're killing the grass. And if I tell you the truth, I never worked out in the off season. I never ran. I never did anything but the first day of fall practice is the first time I ran around the field because I figured I had to save my energy.
Your first 3 years in the league, you played for 3 different teams, and they all went out of business.
That's right.
Did you think you were
That's
bad
how
luck?
good. Hey, that's how good we were. Oh, jeez. It was a catastrophe. But we came back to Baltimore, and after the first year, they hired Eubank from the Browns, and that was the beginning of a great football team, and we enjoyed it. We had a great coach and a great football team.
Growing up as a kid, did you go to many baseball games at Yankee Stadium?
Every afternoon my father grew up with the business manager of the business manager of the Yankees and the Giants. So he'd give my father, they both would give him. They grew up in a place called Hell's Kitchen. It was the Irish section of Manhattan, right on the Hudson River, 10th Avenue. And, I guess it was about maybe 20 blocks. And I had season tickets there for any game I wanted to go to. But I didn't go to all of them. I went to some of them. The only thing you had to pay was 15 cents sales tax. So I could down.
What was Eubank like as a coach?
With Eubank,
Yes.
he was a great coach, but a great coach. We call him a little weasel SOB, but he taught us the game.
He became a lot better coach when the Colts got a quarterback named Johnny Unitas, though.
We knew, yes, we knew though we were getting better. Before John came, we had a couple of quarterbacks were good, real good. And one time we went and played Green Bay, and they were pretty, they were pretty good. And we beat them, and we got on the bus up in Green Bay, and Gino Marchetti says to me, "Hey, Patso, how good do you think we are?" And I said, "Gino, I think this is the beginning of a good football team." And we certainly, that's when you was there. And he says, he's a weasel, but he's a good coach. And that was it.
How did you get the nickname Fatso?
I don't know, because all I am is muscle, and that's a lot of BS too. I could never run, but he taught us the keying defense right up my alley. I knew what the guy in front of me was doing before the play started. But I'll tell you, one guy I played against was good, was Stan Jones. You remember him?
With the Bears.
The Bears. He was a tough guy. The only thing, he wasn't very good at pass protection. So, they threw the ball a lot, and I was saying, he told me one time that we played, and they had his whole family there, and he says, what was he gonna do? And he said, I played against you, and that the lousest day of my career. You ruined my day, and we became great friends. Oh, well, it was fun. It was fun against playing the Bears. They had that old time band out in center field, and they used to play a lot of marching songs, and we were watching up, and we make out we were marching with their music, and they got a great kick out of that, and so did we.
What was that 1958 game like against the Giants?
Well, I got a great kick out of it, because I only lived 4 miles, 4 miles from the stadium. And when I got introduced, everybody, all my neighbors booed me. So it was a great day. Great day.
How did you end up on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson?
nicest man I've ever met on television. And I was sitting in the room before I went on, and the guy says to me, "Hey, there's a man out here, and he wants to meet you." I said, "Oh, he's going to tell me what to do." And I went out, and it was Walter Concrete. And he says he wanted to meet me. And I couldn't really believe it. And he said to me, "Young man, don't ever change. Just tell the truth, and you'll be okay." And to me, that was the nicest thing that I ever said, or somebody said to me. And I couldn't get over Walter Concrete saying to a defensive tackle that he enjoyed me. And I said, "Mr. Concrete, thank you very much. That's the nicest thing. That's the best thing anybody ever said to me." And the second best team was Johnny Carson's band. The guy that used to really dress up. And they came walking over the stage, and the whole band congratulated me and said, "You should be on at least once a week." So that was it.
That 58 game, Frank Gifford insists to this day that he got the first down. What do you say to that?
He did not make it twice. The first time, Marchetti and I made the tackle. Big Daddy jumped over and he broke his leg. Broke Gino's leg. The second one, the overtime, Gino wasn't even in the game. He was sitting under the goalpost watching, and a fella came over who was another hell of a football player named Odell Bracey from South Dakota University, who was another fine football player. He was screaming, "I made that, I made that." And their coach was hollering. And I said, "Hey, Frank, you didn't make it. Why don't you stop the bullshit and get back in the huddle?" And that was it. And he and I became friends ever since.
What offensive lineman gave you trouble?
Everybody.
I don't think so.
What am I gonna say? They wouldn't be in the league if they weren't good football players. And it was a battle. These guys were good football players. All of them. And some of them, you own them. And you own some of them. But I wouldn't say which was the best or which was any better than anybody else. I'm being truthful.
I asked Gino Marchetti about that chicken eating contest, and he says that Art likes to embellish stories.
You know, who was it? It was Gino and Don Joyce. But Joyce, he could not eat anybody. I mean, there way back, I went through the Harlem Tunnel, and there was a guy selling hot dogs off of a truck. He had a real fancy truck. I don't know, but I ate so many that I had to stop. I ran out of money. So the next time I stopped was, about 4 months later when I found him out. And he said he didn't know who I was or where I came from. He says, Jesus, where you been? I really miss you. You're the best customer I ever had. We had a lot of great times, a lot of great stories. These guys just don't have the fun we had. It was a great, I think it was the greatest in football history, because the guys were older, naturally, and we just had more fun.
And you certainly weren't playing for the money.
Well, in those days, we made good money. We don't make money like they now do. They make today, paying a quarterback $120 million. Jeez. I mean, that's a lot of hot dogs. I couldn't eat that many.
Are you still drinking Schlitz beer every day?
Sure. No, I had to give it up. For 4 months, I didn't have one. I got an infection in my bladder. They told me I had cancer in my bowel, your bowel, and I spent about two different times. So they wouldn't let me eat beer. So I had to give up the Schlitz and the hot dogs. So the only Schlitz I ever had in the 4 months was one Schlitz with the doctor in the hospital. And we got caught by his boss, and he nearly got fired.
What was it like after your book came out, Fatso, in the mid-'80s, and then you became almost like a regular with David Letterman on television?
Well, I don't know. My wife was the one that, and I didn't want to write a book. Oh, I didn't. Listen, I'll tell you the God's honest truth. I'm an Irish Catholic, and the only book I read in my life was the Catechism, going to Catholic school. And I'm telling you the God's honest truth.
What I enjoyed on David Letterman was you and Julia Child, the time you were cooking.
Oh, jeez. She says, I said to I didn't know who Julia Child. And I said, where are you from, Miss Childs? I thought the way she talked, she was from England, ew. And she says, Cambridge. I says, Cambridge, Maryland? No, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Oh, I went to Boston College, and I used to go over to the square in some place, a square, and drink beer in Cambridge. And she said to me, I don't drink beer. I said, you're missing something. But she was a nice lady, and to tell you the truth, we got drunk. And that girl, who was the guy on the show? Oh, it was the Letterman show. And he got drunk. Then we were drinking cognac. And then at the end of the show, he and she and I were in the back of a little small convertible, and I couldn't get out of the chair. So they had to stop and get her out first. I laughed my rear end off. But it was fun.
Also fun, I have to imagine, would be you having the distinction of being the first Baltimore Colt to make it into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You were in the class of 1968, along with people like Marion Motley and Crazy Legs Hurst, Charlie Trippy. What was that like?
It was, you know, what can I say? I just was lucky to play with great football players. And a coach that who died, well, Weeb and guys played alongside of me. Marquetti, Don Joyce, Ray Krause, just fine football players.
Don't forget Big Daddy Lipscomb.
He was all right, but he couldn't. We had a guy from Chicago named Tom Finnan, was better than him, but Finnan was sort of a little bit of a wild man. He was from Chicago, and when he retired, he became a Chicago policeman. And you ask anybody who played, Finnan was better than Big Daddy. But that Big Daddy BS and all that, you know, hey, I saw Big Daddy, you know. But Finnan was a better football player.
Who was the best player you ever saw play?
Lenny Moore.
What made him so good?
He was just good. He could have been he was all pro defense, all pro. He could have been all pro defense. He was all pro offense. Just a hell of a football player. He won the Penn State, and he played under Joe Paterno and the other coach at Brown. That was his coach at Brown. But he could do anything.
Is there one play in your career that stands out as a favorite?
Play? Nah, just playing the game. I can't say one play. I was happy I played with a great football team, with a great bunch of guys. And I think the greatest thing that I ever heard a guy say about the Baltimore Colts was a great linebacker from Detroit Joe Schmidt said to me, you know what? I wish I had played with you guys. You guys really have a lot of fun. And you could. And he's another great friend of mine. I made a lot of great friends just playing against them.
What about Jim? What about Jim Brown?
Jim Brown, he's the best, maybe the best runner, but not the best player. He didn't block, but he could run.
Can you believe that a former teammate of yours went on to be the most successful coach in history in Don Shula?
Well, Shula, when he was playing, I and another wild man named Bill Pellington, who was a hell of a football player. We bought a house and we lived together. And Shula then was as wild as we were. I'm serious.
What was the wildest thing you guys ever did?
We get in a house and we wrestle, those two guys, against me. And they'd get me down and turn me over and start walloping my ass. And I'd get laughing so hard I couldn't do anything. And they just beat the hell out of me. But I loved it.
How did you guys not end up in jail with all these shenanigans?
Oh, well, I think I was stronger than either one, but that two of them together. But Gino was quick. I mean, he was fast. He's the best pass rusher I've seen. He, maybe the run not as good, but the pass rusher, I don't think anybody was any better than him. I really mean it.
So you had one of the top running backs of all time, one of the top quarterbacks of all time, one of the top defensive ends of all time, and Raymond Berry, one of the top receivers.
Who's that?
Raymond Berry.
Oh, well, he cuts the ball. He could do anything. Yeah, he was a hell of a football player. Oh, yeah, I could bullshit with the best of them. I learned that from standing in Mr. Goldberg's candy store. And that's all we did all our lives. In fact, I had a fight one night with a kid named A.B. Goldberg. No relation, no, to Mr. Goldberg. And we were only kidding around, and I grabbed Ebby. And he went to hit me. I let go. I threw him right through the window of the candy store. We had to pay for the window. It was great growing up. Just that.